Good morning, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for September 8, 2014. Monday morning around 6:55 in Belleville, Massachusetts. It's going to be another nice and sunny day. Highs in the 70s. Are going to be a little bit above average this week. Some news to report. Prince William and the Duchess of Cambridge, Catherine, have announced they're going to have another child. And Prince George is going to be a big brother. And congratulations to them. And also 48 years ago today was the classic TV sci-fi series Star Trek made its debut on NBC. And also 48 years ago, the classic TV sitcom Netgirl starring Marlo Thomas made its debut on ABC. And also 45 years ago today, legendary voice actor of Superman on the radio and game show host Bud Collyer passed away at the age of 61, and that was also the day, 45 years ago today, that Beat the Clock was revived for syndication. It was hosted by Jack Nas, and also 43 years ago, the USA Network signed on the air for the first time as the Madison Square Garden Network, unrelated to the MSG Regional Sports Network that's in the tri-state area. Speaking about the USA Network, that's my first video blog of the day, the early years of the USA Network. The USA Network is one of the most popular cable networks in the United States. It's usually ranked number one in primetime viewing because they have a lot of great shows and stuff like that. It started its humble beginnings as the Madison Square Garden Network for about 7.5 years. It actually signed on the air September 8, 1971. I mentioned that. And it signed on, like it usually was signed on the air at 5 p.m. weekdays and weekends. They signed on at noontime. They usually showed college sports and other less known sports that were like you don't see on television anymore, kind of like an early version of ESPN, but it was only shown in selective areas in the New York area and stuff like that. And January 3rd, 1979, it went national, and it had to rebrand itself the USA Network. And the USA Network was mainly a sports network for the first few years. It was on the air national. And they showed Major League Baseball, the NBA, the NHL, college basketball, college football, boxing, and they had some sports talk shows, and they also showed house shows of WWE from Madison Square Garden and the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland. In 1981, they expanded their programming options, and they signed on the air like at 6 in the morning. So they showed some talk shows, they showed some kids shows, including the kids show Calliope, and they also showed like sports programming for a couple of hours in the afternoon, and then from 3 to 6 they showed more talk shows and stuff, and from like 6 to midnight they showed sporting program, and then the overnight they maybe showed a movie and stuff, and they replayed their sporting programming and stuff like that. 1982, in the fall of 1982, USA Network was like new owners. The Gulf and Western Company that used to own Paramount Pictures bought a significant portion of the USA Network, so they went 24/7, and they kind of limited the sports programmings to nights, and they started to add more reruns of old classic television shows like Dragnet, Room 222, Adam 12, The Virginia, Bonanza. I think they showed Owen Marshall's Council at Law and a few other shows, plus focusing more on movies. And they also had the Cartoon Express that was from 6 to 7 p.m. weeknights. And the Cartoon Express usually showed a lot of Hanna-Barbera cartoons and stuff like that, and it got real popular on the ratings and stuff. And around 1983 or so, USA Network started to show WWE All-American Wrestling after it replaced Southwest Championship Wrestling. stuff like that. And from 1984 to 1986, USA Network was phasing out the sporting programming, but in its place, they were starting to show movies, more movies, like kind of movies that were like released a few years before, plus they were adding more television shows, prime time. And also in 1984, they started a game show block in the afternoons, replacing old talk shows and movies. These game shows were dominant on USA Network in the afternoon for about 11 and a half years. Some of the game shows that USA Network showed were reruns of The Gone Show, Joker's Wild, the Bill Cullen version, Chain Reaction, Make Me Laugh, The Liars Club, Tic-Tac-Toe, Hot Potato, Bullseye, Play the Percentages, Let's Make a Deal, Couch Potatoes, Pressure Luck, the $25,000 and $100,000 Pyramid. They produced their own game shows via like a television network in Canada. It was Jackpot and Bumper Stumpers. Also, they had Win, Lose, or Draw, and the Hollywood Squares, the John Davison version, and stuff. They also Still of the Century, Scrabble, Caesar's Challenge, and a few others. And these reruns of game shows became more popular. They were one of the highest rated programmings on the USA Network and stuff like that. And also, this is around the time when the USA Network got reruns of such shows as Airwolf. They actually produced the 4th season of Airwolf. And they also got reruns of Murder, She Wrote that was shown on prime time. They also got Riptide, A-Team, Magnum P.I., T.J. Hooker, Charlie's Angels, The Facts of Life, a couple of others. They showed these reruns. And also, on Friday nights, they used to show Night Flight, which was a mix of low-budgeted movies and music videos. So USA Network was getting more and more popular, more people watching it on cable television than ever before. For like ratings, they were the #1 cable network through many years in the 80s and 90s, and they were also associated with WWE the most because of WWE All American Wrestling. Around like the spring of 1984, the WWE added a second programming to the USA Network live lineup called TNT, Tuesday Night's Titans. It was like Vince McMahon hosted it, and his sidekick was Lord Alfred Hayes. It was kind of a knockoff on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, with WWE superstars talking. It was a talk show format. It lasted 2 years. It was kind of amazing. It was good. And also in 1985, WWE added a third programming to the USA Network lineup. It was called Primetime Wrestling. The original hosts were Jack Reynolds and Jesse the Body Ventura, and this showed matches that were were previously shown on WWE Superstars and Wrestling Challenge. Plus, they might have shown some of the matches from the house shows from Madison Square Garden, Maple Leaf Garden, the Spectrum Field, Philadelphia, and stuff like that. And Jack Reynolds and Jesse the Body hosted for a few months, and Gorilla Monsoon replaced Jack Reynolds as the host. Around 1986, it was Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan, and some of the skits they did on the Primetime Wrestling in between the matches were pretty good and stuff like that. And it was a ratings winner for the WWE for many years and stuff like that. But when Primetime Wrestling was fading out, WWE added Monday Night Raw to replace it in January 1993. I'll mention Monday Night Raw on a future video blog about that, and I'll also probably Primetime Wrestling and TNT in the future. And also these shows help grow the USA Network and stuff. And around 1989, USA Network had a late night program called Up All Night, hosted by first Gilbert Gottfried, comedian Gilbert Gottfried, and later on it was hosted by Rhonda Shear. It was a ratings winner. It usually showed classic low-budget movies and stuff, and they would sometimes have guests on in between the segments for the movies. And one time WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels was on it, and this is what was around maybe WrestleMania 10, because Rhonda Shear was one of the celebrity guests there and stuff like that. And USA Network was continuing to grow and grow, and around 1995 they started to eliminate all older game shows and stuff, because there was a game show network, so many of those shows eventually ended up on the game show network. And then since then, USA Network has shown reruns of either movies. You probably see these movies maybe 4 or 5 times a week on the USA Network, and also other shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, and others. And that is really about it for the USA Network, because I've covered the early years of the USA Network, and these things are entertaining and stuff. And I hope you enjoy these video blogs. I love doing these video blogs for you. And later on today, we have 2 more subjects. The subjects is the top 10 goaltenders in Boston Bruins history. And then my personality profile will be about radio talk show host Rush Limbaugh. And that's it for it. And it's going to be interesting when I talk about Rush Limbaugh tonight. And don't forget, more video blogs in the pipeline coming in the days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, millenniums, infinity. We're going to do this into the end of time, okay? Have a good day, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Bye now.